Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much. I have two challenges. One is the session after lunch. It's too difficult to handle. And the second is seniors between the both sides sitting, more stalwarts of the industries. And I like to take this session now, panelist, as a moderator. I am Nandambakkam, Director of Whitman Battlefield India Private Limited. And I head this company for the automation for past 20 years. Smart automation and the robotics, which is the key parameters and the key topic of the all the industries. And when we call intelligence as artificial in our world, and we are moving towards the ChatGPT, AI, and open AI, Geminis, and this. All industries most preferably saying that in my company we equip with automation and the robotics, which is the key parameters and key mantra for the taking the order from the customers. And when we select the automation, we see that most of the critical parameters, but the end, the customer asks, my main equipment price is X, and why should we do the X plus for the automations? And we don't understand that why the automation is more innovative, more costly, and more sustainability in the market. And the most of time we don't see that what is the efficiency, effectiveness of the automation, how it will improve my productivity, products, and less rejections and less energies. In the developed countries, we see that machines, mold, everything is developed towards the automation. But in India, we are just gearing up, but we are going to compete against these developed countries. Coming to the India, how the industry has been there. In 2024, as per the statistics, 24 and 25, in India, we have in India, total, we have 12,600 injection molding machines sold in India, which is the data from the Plast India Foundation, which is the CAGR of 7.4% per year growth we are seeing it. And the investment cost, which is 11% of the CAGR, we are seeing it in the market. And when you come into the factory automations, almost 5,100 crores has been spent in 24-25 for the automation alone, which means that automation has a big scope, big industrial revolutions, and a big increase in the production. And when you compare the machine side, when you take 12,600, the maximum machines lies with 500 to 1,000 tonnage, which that it occupies roughly around 4,500 machines. And below 250, it is 8,000 machines, and above 1,000, it is roughly around 500 machines. On the industrial 4, PCR, post-recycling, and enhanced mold safety, sandwich technologies are the major coming in the industrial sites. And coming to the robotic and automation, we see that the big industrial revolution is happening in smart automation, less manpower, advanced technology for 10 years, AI, safety, energy efficient, and the most thing is ESG, environmental and social governance, how we are going to handle it. And coming to this panelist, and almost I no need of introduction of all my senior persons, and it is known to the industries. First, put together, I go with Gauri Shankar sir. How do you define the smart factory?
Good afternoon, panelists, and good afternoon, participants. The topic is very interesting, smart manufacturing and digital integration. Both are same or both are slightly different. But smart factory, everybody is thinking that if you have more automation and more robotics, it is called a smart factory. But it is not so. It is how it is integrated and how it is self-driving. That is more important for being called a smart factory. The last 1 or 2 decades, we have come a long way in majority of the things like automation, digitization, robotics, IoT-enabled devices, etc., including artificial intelligence. We have the enablers like AI and cloud. But we require the differentiators. They are the most important thing for the next generation manufacturing. Like When you talk about brand in Indian context, we immediately think about Tata for its trust, ethics, etc. And you think about innovation, Jio comes to our mind for the low-cost introduction of telecom. So the differentiators drive the competitive advantage. When you come to smart factory integration, it is not Industry 4.0, it is coming to Industry 5.0. Industry 4.0, all of you are aware of what has happened in Indian manufacturing industries. And what we want is the artificial intelligence and human intelligence to be combined to take us forward. AI will handle the speed, scale, and interpretation, etc. Humans bring judgment, creativity, and ethics. AI cannot judge by itself. People are saying that it is going to do that also, but so far it is not done. It is only doing what is told to it. So the judgment, ethics, all these things, the human intelligence is required. Smart factory critically brings in two things. One is the real-time visibility and the another is autonomous decision making. Real-time visibility, what is that real-time? It is 24 hours, wherever you are and whatever level you are, everything what is happening throughout the factory will be available to you at the click of a button. That is real-time visibility. It helps not only the managers or above decision makers, everybody, including the shop floor operators who handle the machines, the supervisors who handle the daily production, etc. And the quality teams which have to ensure the compliance of quality things. So all these people, they get the same information at the same time. And but everybody gets the truth. That is important here. I would like to recall a small episode. Ashok Leyland, we had two main shifts and one late night shift, which is run only for heat treatment and critical items. That is first shift from midnight 12 to morning 7:30. What I am telling is when the telephones were given to managers, landline, and cell phone was given to bosses. So my boss used to call the first shift, that is the late night shift, mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, and find out what is happening in 1% of the machines they are running. They are the critical machines, where the capacity is very less, we are operating. He will get some information about some machine breakdown or absenteeism leading to loss of production. And he will call me at morning 5 o'clock when I was about to get bath and puja and get started at 6 a.m. He'll ask me 4 or 5 questions, for which I won't have any answer. I don't have any interest to answer also. So I used to only blink. He keep on asking questions. I told him one day, see, if you keep asking questions, if I miss the car, then I will have to take a train and bus and come 2 hours late. The 2 hours you have to manage my shop. Are you ready for it? That was the last day he rang up me. Why I am telling you is, today it is not the case. Today everybody gets the information on a click and they can work on it. That is more important. From the production decisions, morning we have a sunrise meeting or a 7:30 meeting, that is what we call, where everybody comes and kakkiradhan solluvom. Previous day what has not happened. Now what has happened, nobody bothers. What has not happened, they will come and just vomit and go. They will get fired up by the boss and the boss also will be happy. That's all, subject is over. Similarly, the quality decisions, they will analyze what has happened, why this defect has happened, all those things. and they will take 2 or 3 days to come to a decision and then implement it, all those things. But today it is not so. Whoever gets the information can act immediately, and even machine breakdowns or rather scheduling the preventive maintenance, depending upon the input which is coming from the vendors, what is the material flow which is going to be disturbed for a couple of days or something like that. That helps them in doing the scheduling. A smart factory, I will say, is not defined by how much data it has or it generates, but it is how fast and how well it is acted upon. That is important. And next we come to automation. From 1950s, the world has found out the need for getting automated everything because of the volume increase, efficiency requirements, and consistent quality. Here also I would like to call on small episode. Coimbatore I come from. Next to my house there was one small idli kada. It is called Sundaram kada. He used to prepare idli and upma consistently for 50-55 years. The same quantity he used to prepare, same quality, excellent quality of course. I still remember that idli taste. But he will never increase the quality, or he never required any automation or anything, because he was happy with whatever he was doing and people were also happy with the quality. But when the world changed from industry 2.0 to 3.0, etc., we felt a need for automation because the volume was ever increasing. And you require consistency in quality, in production, because the competition was growing like anything. Next, robotics. We have now collaborative robotics, adaptive robotics, mobile robotics, cognitive robotics. Everywhere you have robotics. Mainly in critical areas where human work is found difficult, like assembly shop, welding shop, paint shop, etc. And we have now sensors connected on all machines, robots, tools, products, etc. Do you know how many sensors you are carrying when you are just walking? In your mobile phone, you have some 10 to 15 sensors. We are carrying sensors. Everywhere we have sensors. So that is the connected assets. IIoT has made a tremendous transformation. So next is the virtual replica of machines. That is called digital twins. More useful today, mainly in your chemical plants, where maintenance work, which used to get the plant shut down, wait for the temperature to come down, fumes to go out, all those things. Today it can be done with a virtual replica of it in your comfort zone. What is the road ahead for us? We have to be very resilient with the unannounced disturbances, like the Trump traffic, the tariff. Nobody will know what is going to be the tariff next week or even tomorrow morning. So these things we have to be. Similarly, wars. Russia or Ukraine, then we have 4 or 5 wars continuously coming. So all these disturbances, when is your next tanker coming? We have to wait for the TV to announce when the tanker is coming. So these things, when you have all these things, adaptive to disruptions is more important today. The smartest factory is not the one with the most robots. People are thinking a smart factory means more robots and more automation. Actually, it is the one where data, machines, and people work together seamlessly. That is more important. But our mindset always think that if you want a smart factory, you have to start a new factory and make it smart, all those things. First, we have to change. We have to change our mindset that smart factory we can introduce even in our legacy plants, old plants. There are a lot of examples. I have taken from net only, fantastic examples are there. CNC machine factory where they have a stream of CNC machines. They have put sensors and they have made the total machine predictive maintenance capability they have introduced. Similarly, in textile shop, where you have the old 10 to 40 years old sewing machines. They were all working, but it was surprise breakdowns, frequent breakdowns. Management was not able to cope up with. They have put a lot of drones and sensors. They were capturing the data where the stitches were failing, what is the pattern of the operator, bring the pedal down and up, all these things. And they were able to manage their production show. Tata Motors is integrating the machine shops or assembly shops with downstream and upstream vendors, and that is helping them in ensuring that the production is going smoothly. Ashok Leyland is managing a huge volume of data. 2 TB of IoT data from 1.75 lakh machines are connected vehicles. And they track the real-time vehicle tracking. That is very important for the company. And predictive maintenance alerts and driver habits, they are able to find out exactly where the mistakes are happening. They are able to train the drivers from here itself. And Manesar plant of Maruti, we have a digital validation upstream, where downstream you have some breakdowns or surprises. They were able to avoid those things. These examples show that we have a lot of smart factory things happening in scale in India. And let us not think that it is only big companies, OEMs, which are having the smart factory techniques with them. Tier 1 and Tier 2 companies are more and more coming. 2 reasons. One is they wanted to come to the mainstream, but more than that, the OEMs are driving them. When a failure happens, the OEMs do not ask what is the failure. They ask which part, which batch, what time, because they want the traceability, the first thing. They are very keen on that. So the Tier 2, Tier 1s are going digital continuously. And I'd like to finish my talk with 2 examples of digital twins. One is Amaravati, the capital of Andhra Pradesh. Excuse me. The newly constructed capital city of Andhra Pradesh. They didn't construct the city directly. They made a digital twin replica of the entire city with all the roads, infrastructure, all the density of the population, the movement of population, all these things. They had a digital version, and they analyzed that, and from that they took all the necessary points for the infrastructure, for the construction. Then only they did the construction. Another one is, Bhubaneswar city, the temple town of India. There we have nearly 700 temples. They are old temples, nearly 2,000 years old, majority of them. There, the construction for the new city is not on a twin city, digital twin, but maintaining preserving the old city on temples mainly was the digital thing. They made a replica of the entire temple city with all the temples and the surrounding areas mainly. And they had a lot of sensors and drones fixed on them. And they could find out what are the changes happening on live. And they were recording it and they were analyzing it. And they were able to find the structural stress or cracks which are happening, and they were able to correct them from here itself. And weathering effects due to rain, heat, etc., they were able to capture. More than all these things, unauthorized construction nearby. Here we call it regularization. But in a temple town, when construction comes, it will be very difficult to correct it. So when it starts itself, they are able to capture from here and they are able to correct it. So in Amaravati, we used digital twins to build the future. And in Bhubaneswar, we are using digital twins to protect the past. If we can do for cities all these things, what we can do for factories, I leave to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, and giving the inside view of the Ashok Leyland and the level of workings. And really, it is you gave us the trust and innovations of the two companies which given a total solution in the India. And I go with the next level to Mr. Palni. When you see smart manufacturing, we hear the in terms of Industrial 4.0, IoT, AI-driven robot and digital twins. What does the truly smart factories looks like in the ground today?
Good afternoon, everyone. Is it audible? Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I think Mr. Gauri Shankar did answer that. Smart manufacturing doesn't mean it's all about just having robots in place, right? It's a coordination of how do you use your manpower along with the automation and robotics, capture your data more efficiently and effectively, collect the data from IoT devices, and what are the problem statements for which you can use all this and take actions based on this data, bring in efficiencies based on this data, and also do a kind of a predictive maintenance for some of your machineries, and also enhance your sales team. See, a lot of times when we talk about manufacturing, this is based on my personal experience with one of the manufacturer who is an OEM for Caterpillar. Smart manufacturing, when we talk about, what we realize is there are challenges even when it comes to giving quotation to their vendors, right? So all these aspects today, artificial intelligence does provide a wonderful way to reduce the time taken to prepare a code, work or say do a kind of a competitive analysis in a much better way, and look at your past records also to prepare a kind of a pitch for your client. So I see AI playing a role in terms of sales, in terms of HR function, and more importantly on the shop floor with various machineries providing the data. How do your shop floor manager manage it much more efficiently? That's the way I see it.
Thank you so much. But the data is the foundation of the smart automation. But the many manufacturers or the many industries struggle in getting this data with the existing machines and the legacies of the machines of the multiple vendors. How do you see? How do you solve this data collections? Hello, data collections and the problem before the AI? Dr. Satyaprasad. Yeah, data is the foundation of the entire machines and automations and all the factories or the manufacturers. From the legacies of the old machines, being the manufacturer, we found difficulties in collecting the data. And how do you solve this data collection?
See, I will tell you a little story of what intelligence is, what cognition is, and the difference between a system that uses data and a system that can actually synthesize and understand the data. A simple example is if you take a baby and the baby touches a flame, some lamp or candle or something, and it burns. The child pulls the hands back. So the first time when the child touched the flame, it didn't have the data about the flame. The child did not know that the flame will be hot, it will actually scald the skin. But next time when the child sees the flame, it actually goes back. The reason is there is already an impression in the child's brain that something that looks like a flame will hurt me, so I should not go near it. Now, the original experience might have been due to a flame from a candle. Now, the child has the intelligence that even if it is kuturalaka like this or something else, the child is able to correlate that, yeah, this doesn't look very different from the candle. So I would err on the side of caution. I will not make the mistake, and I will better not touch it. This is what is called as intelligence. So the data the child had was from only one, piece of reality, which is called as the candle. But the child is able to apply it to a lamp or something else, right? Now, a purely data-driven system is a very black and white system. The pure data-driven system says that if I touch the flame of a candle, my index finger will get burnt. That is the reality you have. You will not be able to tell if your middle finger will get burnt or your fist will get burnt. So when you have a purely data-driven system, you risk losing the cognition or the ability to learn. The second example comes from the Upanishads, which talks about avidya, one of the pancha klesham, right? Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesham. Avidya is the false knowledge. Let's say I'm walking in the night and I'm seeing something wavy. So most likely the amygdala will trigger and there will be a fight or flight. So the assumption is it could be a snake. Now, what will I do? I will err on the side of caution and say it could be a snake, therefore I will stop, freeze, look at it, and then realize that it may not be a snake because it's not moving. Then I go closer, it's a piece of rope. Now here, this is an example. The first is an example where I have limited data, I have cognition, and I use the cognition to ensure that any adjacent data is also analyzed. For example, if you show the flame, a picture of the flame to the child will again respond similarly, telling that I am scared. We do that, right? Looking at horror movies, we know that somebody had shot the movie, actors have acted, it is all a setting. But yet, when we see a stunt scene, we get excited. When we see a horror scene, we get scared. The problem is, when the cognition, the intelligence is over-applied, we hallucinate. This is what your ChatGPT or your Gemini does. I have played a lot with these AI systems on hallucinations, and it's just incredible how it constructs figments of imagination that is not there. So on one hand, in the case of a child, the data cognition is towards self-preservation. But in case of an adult, it started with self-preservation. But then when you realize it's a rope, then you have to reprogram and say that, well, I can now boldly approach a rope. So, the cognition maturity is higher in an adult than in a child. Right? If you look at monkeys, for example, you give a banana to a monkey, beat it twice, and give a banana again, it will come for the banana. It will say, this guy is beating me. It will not, come. Now, therefore, the ability to extrapolate intelligent inferences from a data is going to be challenged. Now, how much are you going to trust the system? How good your AI is trained, right? Now, the AI does nothing. It's just a neural network program, and it says that, look, you have trained me like this, and with the training you have given, I'm going to give you certain output. That's what your Gemini and your ChatGPT does. Now, when you put it in a factory, right? Where the intelligence come? My tool is wearing, or there is a judder. Is this enough to stop the machine, or can I continue the machine? Well, I have to stop the machine if the machine is old. I can continue if the machine is a good quality new machine. Now, a purely data-driven system cannot do this. You need certain cognition and intelligence. Now, therefore, you have, for example, a vision system or a sensor system that is essentially what you call as an jnanendriya of a smart machine, which essentially captures so many frames per second. Then there is a cognition layer which uses the existing data and experience and says that in this situation I have operated and the component that came out is good. And the third is the decision layer which says now the machine can go ahead and produce the machine. So in terms of AI, we are building a cognition layer to make sure that the data that is used is sensibly used. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah. Yes, it's a perfect that the data is a vital backbone for the entire thing. But coming to the doctor, doctor.
See, this is for the question of the challenge of having the data, right? See, one thing that I have personally experienced through our organization interactions, right? A lot of MSMEs, the challenge that you mentioned is right. Some are, say, highly evolved. Some are at their mid-stage. Some don't have the kind of systems that can actually, or they don't even collect the data, right? So in all these cases, the first and foremost thing is about how do you bring the management to alignment in terms of even collecting the data, right? And when it comes to data analytics per se, this is what we say. To the management, it is very important first to show some value even with whatever data that you are able to get out from the systems, right? Let me take the example of, say, the hard copies of certain things that they manage, right? So the organization that goes and does the consulting will have to do the hard work of converting it and then populating it, and then even if there is a kind of a synthetic data that needs to be used and shown the value, we'll have to do it because we have done that in the past. And recently also we have been doing. And to state the current scenario, right, we are working with the disaster management team in BR. We don't have all the data that can help us predict the lightning in a particular point, right? So whether it is a state level project or whether it is a micro or a small business, definitely there are always going to be data challenges. And it's all about, in today's world, if we can replicate certain things using synthetic data and also showcase the value, we have seen buy-ins from a couple of our potential clients. I see that would be a good way to go ahead. When it comes to actual implementations, yes, there are going to be certain challenges related with whether their existing system can even accommodate a device like an IoT device. I think I would allow him to speak about it. Do you have any point of view to challenges that you've seen? Yeah, so that's the way I see it.
Yeah, it's a nice perspective of the data analytical. But coming to the Dr. Vivek, bridging the industry and the academic output, what are the engineers graduated actually being trained in today, and how wide is the skill gap when they enter into the industry in regarding the smart automation and robotics?
Now in engineering, we have greater opportunities than here. Many industry peoples are there. Now we know the stuff to make a product to a business. But for students now it's very easy and simple. We have TBIs, technical business incubators, innovation centers. I can able to see most students over here. Just go through it. They can able to sponsor you 1 lakh to 1 crore rupees for your idea. It may be anything. If you have an idea of always the father of invention is problem. If you have a solution for a problem, the university is ready to sponsor you 1 rupee to 1 crore rupee for each and every students. So that is what the first objective I'm saying. We're talking about the technology is all next thing, because in 2016 I made a device which is an auto rescue system, as they mentioned. When accident happens, automatically it will detect and it will inform the hospital via cloud computing, cloud technology. The ambulance will reach you within 3 minutes. This is the device which I made it on 2016 and I received different awards for that. But to make it commercial, it is not yet possible. I'm getting a struggle because I'm an individual who is trying for it. But for a young engineering student today, it's not that. They can go to approach TBI, they can approach innovation entrepreneurship. If their idea is good, they can able to create their own startups. The entire sponsorship will be given by the industry. Even few products you can able to see the automatic remote control fans, which is a product of IIT. So it is purely sponsored by IIT. Once it converted to startup and it makes business, the profit of 10% will be shared to the university. That is very greater. Now we know the stuff like how much we have to worry about makeup products or idea to product. Even many big industries are struggling in getting funding for it. But for youngsters, for engineering students, you have that one of the greatest opportunities. But we hope we are not utilizing. That is one of the thing. And second thing, the topic is we are talking about as smart automation, like human collaboration with the robotics. Today it's everywhere, starting from vacuum cleaners to the Tesla satellites. Everything is artificial, everything is robotics with human intelligence. Human intelligence will not be compared with anything, even AI, anything it can become. People tell like whenever we are talking about artificial intelligence and other things, it will spoil the working, like it will spoil the human intentions. It's not that. Always human intelligence is greater than anything. We can't able to compare it with artificial intelligence. When we talk about artificial intelligence or robotics, it's a combination of artificial intelligence, IoT, and machine learning techniques. We are not future of those are not a technology. Current technologies we are going through. Our future is quantum computing, which we are looking forward. And quantum is going to come in as a chipsets, like how our students doing projects with raspberries. They are going to do the projects with quantum computing, quantum chipsets. No, this entire our world's growth happens within this 100 years with computing technology. Next 10 years after quantum will change the world to the next stages, which is we are going to evolve it in a way. So I'm also talking about artificial intelligence. So I hope many students are here. So everywhere we can able to apply, as computing can be applied everywhere, in every loop and corners. Like for example, recently we did a project like in industries, CNC machines. When we are making different products in CNC machines, the drill bits are getting damaged due to the wear and tear. What happens? It makes the end product output is getting damaged. Like pieces, among 2 or 3 pieces are rejected due to the wear and so we made, because the artificial intelligence is nothing but IoT. We will keep the sensors will give a data. That data will make a data structures. Then we will go for machine learning or deep learning according to the data. Then we will achieve artificial intelligence. Then that AI will directly give to the live data set. By that we will achieve AI. By that we can able to solve the particular problem of the machine. Now we created a software. It ensures that 100% there is no damages in the devices. This is the way all problems can be computing. Your artificial intelligence can able to give such a solutions. And as you students here, you can able to utilize a great platform like TBIs and innovation entrepreneur cells in your universities, which you have a great opportunities. So if you utilize that, you can when you are coming out of the university, you will be an entrepreneur or you have a business modules in the technologies.
Yeah, thank you so much. And sir, if coming to the large manufacturers like Tata, Mahindra or Ashok Leyland, most of these big companies have a budget for the automations, but 90% of the Indian manufacturers are driven by SMEs, small and manufacturing MSMEs. Okay. What is the realistic affordable step of the road of these mid-sized companies or the smaller companies to begin the automation journey?
It's a very interesting question. Majority of the OEMs are aware of this problem, and they are in a mood to help the MSMEs or Tier 2, Tier 1 companies to come to the digital forum. But these are all in the vendor development program. The OEMs have a budget for vendor development program, and with that they encourage. But the encouragement is only to a small extent. But the vendors have to come out with their own budget allocation for the digitization. But when you talk about digitization, immediately the vendors go back. They are happy with what they are able to do now in manual process, and what is the output they are getting, and what is the profit they are making. They are not interested in touching that. It's a very difficult thing, and Government of India also is helping MSMEs, but the details I am not aware. But it is helping them in understanding the importance of going digital and the benefits of that.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, your views, sir.
I'll just continue a couple of points. See, the situation of MSME in India is very interesting. There are three kinds of product, right, that any company can produce. The first is the physical product, the second is the knowledge product, and third is the service product. If you look at our GDP, almost 52% comes from the service products, and until almost say 4 or 5 years ago, a significant part of the GDP of China came from the physical product. So India was known for the service product and China was known for the physical product. Now I have dealt with a lot of MSMEs and I have been very sad. They are caught between the rock and a hard place. If they hire a person, train the person, that's going to cost a lot of time and money. And what is this kid going to do? Somebody else is going to pay him 20% more salary and he will be poached. So pretty much many of the MSMEs are run by 2-3 people who literally have a lot of stake in the company or who own the company, and they know every bit of the organization, and rest of them end up doing what the top person says. Now it's a catch-22 situation. You can't expand a company and make it knowledge-centric if you don't invest and train the people. But yet, if you invest and train the people, they are going to leave you. Now what are you going to do? This is where AI is going to come in very handy, because the entire legacy and knowledge of the company can be put into an AI system so that the knowledge is retained intact, and the person would be an executor of the knowledge that is synthesized by the AI system, and the training becomes very cheap. Today, it is no longer taking the book and learning the subject. It is essentially questioning the AI system. I want to use an Arduino board. Tell me how to use it. Then the AI system will say, would you want to assemble a board like Arduino board, or would you want to use the Arduino board? Then I will say, I want to use the Arduino board. Then it will say, would you want to make a robot out of the Arduino board, or would you want to make program the Arduino board? Then you will say, I want to program the Arduino board. So now it is learning by querying. Now for MSMEs, this is a boon, and investing in AI system is significantly strategic, because you can retain the knowledge of the company without losing it, and you can train the engineers by making them self-learn by querying. So answer is, AI is very vital for Indian MSMEs.
Thank you, sir. But I will put one more question to you. What are the top 3 mistakes company is doing in attempting the smart automation or the robotics in their field?
The first and foremost mistake is there is a commoditization of the workforce. If you look at 30 years ago, 40 years ago, the notion of contract employees did not exist much in the country. You join a company, you work for the company, you retire from the company. Today, the OPEX model, the CAPEX model is moving into an OPEX model. People want expense to be elastic, which means you go to a manpower consultant and say, give me 50 resources that can operate a CNC machine. So when you convert the human capital into resources, the loyalty takes a beating. So this is the first mistake people are doing, which is not investing in human capital. The second mistake is a commodity mindset. The notion of thought leadership is not yet appreciated in India. Very surprising that our country could produce a Ramayana and Mahabharata, great savants like Vedanta Desikar with intelligent, unbelievable IQ, and yet we are very comfortable in operating as a white-collared coolie sweatshop, doing the front-end Visual Basic or Fox Pro system for a bank or an insurance, or doing a forging or a casting and supplying it to some European country or an American country or Japan. So, I will give you an example. I will not tell the name. One of our companies produces the largest number of motorcycles in the world. But can you compare that motorcycle with a Harley Davidson or a BMW motorcycle? Absolutely not. Why? Because we use cost arbitrage, we use volume arbitrage, we use labor arbitrage. This is a mistake we are doing. So there is no appreciation for intellect, there is commoditization of human capital, and the last is risk aversion. This is the third point. Unless we take risk, we cannot apply any system like an AI system. We will be comfortable in rotting where we are, telling that, okay, you know what, I am making the money and I am living quarter to quarter, my investors are happy and life goes on.
Thank you, sir. And it is a industrial view. And if I ask Dr. Vivek that nowadays the companies expect the cross department or the cross link between the one department to the department for the students. And how do you train your students to address these issues of the cross department when the computer science engineer wants to know about the mechanical, or the mechanical engineer wants to know about the quality control?
Actually, this is one of the greatest questions for engineering students. Why cross engineers? You know, in SRM we have more than 32,000 of students. Among in our CSE department we have more than 10,000 students in all 4 years. When it comes to placements, the placements is common for all the students. I will like all dream companies is not coming for only for the computing students. It is coming for all the departments. Like we have 10,000 students. Mechanical have 1,000 students. Like around 1,500 students are getting into job in computer science. Our 200 students are getting in mechanical, which is greater. Obviously mechanical, because they have only 1,000 students. Now, all the IT sectors, we are not only working for purely softwares and other things. Everywhere computing is there. Everywhere artificial intelligence is there. For example, Google have a plan of launching a driverless cars. So it is a pure, pure computing technology where it is going to work on IoT in a mechanical engineering. So if I take a student from computer science student, only C and C++, that's it. But they doesn't know the atomic system of engineering of automobiles, like cars and vehicles. If I take a mechanical student, just I can teach them C or C++, they can able to do a project better than the CSE student, yes or no? So that is the main main problem we have in our institutions. So to solve these issues, all the universities now coming with multidisciplinary, like multi-code projects. Like the departments will involve in other departments. They will sit in the mechanical department, and they will because AI is required. Mechanical engineering is required. They can able to work on different multidisciplinary projects. So by that we can able to improve the placements in computing technologies as well as in mechanical. They will also come to computer science, because now Python and all programming languages coming to all the departments. Like even mechanical or any other electrical and electronics, any departments of engineering, they have C++ and Java. So this helps them to get into the good placements this is a practice now. We universities are going for the multidisciplinary projects.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be quick. So just as what was mentioned, I was surprised about one of the programs from the government. I am a student from Government College of Engineering, Tirunelveli. So we are part of the alumni network. There, from the government, now there is a project where the third year and the final year students, they are picked up from each department, electronics, electrical, computer science, mechanical, and they all have to work together on a particular project. They have to do a knowledge exchange. They have to understand the challenges of each of the things. So this is like a 6 months program. It's a well thought out program, I would say, considering where the needs of the engineers are blurring by departments, right? So this program, at least I know that it is in place in all the government colleges because this is being sponsored by the government. So I know that this has been in place. Not sure about the private colleges, but this initiative, I think, helps to an extent for the students also to understand about the various other departments and their challenges.
Thank you so much, sir. I like to have one more question with you. Looking ahead with all the panelists also, looking ahead of the next 10 years, what does the full realistical next generation manufacturing facilities in India looks like? Autonomous, lights out, AI managed. What is your, what are the social impact in the future?
It's slightly, see, I don't come from the manufacturing background, so I may not be in a right position to predict or forecast. Just like our friend said earlier, seeing from what the computing era is coming up with, by 2029, 2030, we are expecting quantum computing to be a major impact in the entire system, okay? So when that happens, how does our current set of the microprocessors being used in manufacturing, how does that change? And how does quantum get adopted in the manufacturing? Or what happens to robots, right? See, today when we are thinking about robots, we are only thinking about industrial robots. But there are going to be various other kinds of robots playing a major role in manufacturing. So I see there are going to be some it's going to be bright, definitely, and it's going to be much more swifter, much more efficient, but it might also have its own set of challenges. That's the way I see it.
Thank you, sir. Sir, with one piece advice to the manufacturers in this room who wants to start their journey for the automations, do you like to advise how to start it, when to start it, and why to start it? Coming to the one piece advice for the manufacturers in this room to start the automation journey, where to start it, how to start it, and who to start it?
When to start it? There is no good time or bad time for starting a thing. Start it, as he said yesterday. First, as I told some time back, you should have your mindset fixed for starting. That is important. And how to start it? Yes, you have to start from small investments and then look at your co-companies where they have done it and how they have benefited. Then only you can scale it up. Initially, going for a bigger scale will not be advisable.
I mean, he was senior by almost 2 decades in Ashok Leyland to me, so he's the guru, and the guru should not be disputed, he should be complimented. Absolutely, automation need not be expensive. Today, AI systems are absolutely, think of it, many years ago, when I was a grad student, we never had a browser. It was an online system called as Link command line. Then Mosaic was the browser that came and we were very excited. Then Netscape came. And when then the search engine we had Lycos, Yahoo was rudimentary, web crawler was at that time quite amazing. So when Google came, it was an order disruption. We just couldn't believe. And in fact, people make fun. My wife knows all the answers. She's like Google search engine. Happens in my house. Now, in the last 3-4 years, your AI agents have taken over, right? For everything, we don't anymore go to a Google search engine. We essentially ask the question to a chat GPT or a Google Gemini. Why? Because a Google search engine or any search engine for that matter is inert. You can't ask a question and it won't answer. It will just give some data with whatever it scavenges from the net. On the other hand, you can get intimate with your chat GPT or your Gemini or your Bard or your Grok or your Quen or any AI agent. Now humans want intimacy, right? I know many of you would have done issues that are too personal to you that you don't want to divulge to another human being. You would ask your chat GPT because the chat GPT is not going to betray you. First, you can go into anonymous mode and ask the question so that it doesn't get logged into the data. So you have control of the data. Now, 10 years from now, when you look at the shop floor, it will be heavily automated. There will be AI systems which have the empathy. You can say, look, my child is a little sick. It will say, don't worry, this machine operation can be delayed and the productivity won't suffer. Why don't you attend to the child? And these are the half a dozen best hospitals. So empathy is going to be a significant factor that would be built in. And, you will have 100% inspection because the notion of taking batches from a lot will become defunct very soon. Your camera already has 30 FPS, human eye has 60 FPS. Somebody said human intelligence is unsurpassed. Absolutely not. See, you can't do calculations as good as a calculator. That doesn't mean a calculator is inferior to you or you are superior. The calculator has its function, you have its function. Same way with the AI agent. AI agent can bring in certain level of cognition that's not possible for the human. See, Challenger space shuttle failed because the decision to launch it, knowing that the O-ring will become brittle, was taken by humans. Humans are fallible. We are emotional. An AI agent is not emotional. It pretends to be emotional, right? Gemini talks to you with empathy, but that's a pseudo-empathy. So, we are complicated agents, whereas an AI is less complicated than us if we train it properly. So, there is going to be a significant disruption in the way the factories are going to operate. And many factories will become dark factories. You don't need any more human intervention. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. With this last question, I will open up to the all the publics. Sir, cyber security and data piracy and the system reliability is one of the key parameters. Cyber security, data piracy, and the system reliability is one of the key parameter for the automation and the data science. How do you see that in the upcoming years?
So I will just touch upon the data security part. See, data security is very essential, just not for organizations. It's data security is common for everybody, and because we touched upon the topic of quantum, I would say that the cyber security aspect is also evolving with quantum cyber security, and we see a huge potential coming up in that area. Okay, so when an organization, I think you had an earlier question where the first set of challenge for any organization today is even about digitalization. Then the second set is about even understanding the importance of the data and how to protect the data, right? So there is a bit of, say, education also that is required, because we see it's about multiple steps that the MSMEs has to climb. And in fact, we were expecting the government of India to even announce a budgetary support for cyber security this time. Because that was one of the proposals that was forwarded to the FM from the MSME department. So cyber security is very key, very essential, and that protects the organization.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I wish to open the forum for the public questions. If there are any questions is there for the panelists.
Thank you. Just one question. When we speak about this integrating AI in the manufacturing, right? First thing is, as you said, we need to collect the data, right? And for collecting the data, we need to have a lot of softwares and some platforms, right? If I have a Fanuc system, if I have a Siemens, if I have a Honeywell DCS, and then some PLC as well. Okay, am I better? Yeah. So we have multiple systems in our shop floor, right? Like we have Siemens, we have Fanuc, we have Mitsubishi maybe, and some legacy machines will be there. So what are the solutions, our latest solutions, or advanced solutions that are available today that enables us to, collect the data economically? See, I cannot invest license for individual ones, right? So something like SDA. So I'm asking something like, what is the advancements that are here? It's open to all of the panelists, so anybody can say.
Basically, sir, I can tell you that most of the industrial manufacturers, we have a software, from a Whitman, we have a 4.0, which we will not collect only the equipment from our own brand, we can connect to the other brands of our competitors also. Data collection is that every companies are following one nature like Euromap standards in the global. The Euromap standard defines that how the data has to be sent out and what is the mode of the encrypt they need to send it out and which are the parameters we need to send it out. So this is easy for the centralized systems to collect the data. It is available nowadays. All the manufacturers started following this data standards, which means that now the parameters are getting common in all the things. But your setting parameter changes, but the collecting parameter comes as a common in this thing. Only the challenge what others, everybody has is that the good old machines of the old machines, which that now the people are coming with the external devices integrated with the machines, external sensors integrated with the machines to collect the data. But it is like an easy challenge. Like when we ask you to install the latest version of Adobe or the Microsoft in the old Windows XP computer, which is quite difficult, and that computer cannot support also because that memory power is certainly limitations. So there is a limitations, but it is possible, and there is also standardizations are coming up. Even in India, we have they are coming with the BIS standards for this collecting the data. Maybe.
So typically, we recommend building a custom data lake also, all right? So a custom data lake as per the standards of your organization, where the data is fetched from multiple sources, and then a unified data lake will have all the attributes from the data, and this data lake will then function as the key to build any other visual layer or the intelligence layer on top of it. Any kind of training that needs to be done can be done using this data. So that is also possible. But again, have we done something like this before in a manufacturing setup? No. Whatever scenarios that we have seen today, like I said earlier, we were able to work with certain functions or departments, and then based on that we have done it.
See, the question is, it is unwise to harvest all the data. You should have intermediate systems like your IoT or edge computing or something, where you take the streaming data and then you process it, and then only send those packets that are relevant at a sampling rate that is relevant. So using AI doesn't mean that every data should be streamed for the downstream to process it because it will choke. So you have to do computing at stages and just extract what you want, and then you use your.
Thank you so much, sir. And is there any open questions?
Check. So good evening, sir. So myself, I'm even a final year student. So to my knowledge, smart manufacturing has always been a buzzword that's always integrates only or it's concentrated on the technology or integration of IoT or AI or cloud computing and further technology, sir. So my doubt is like, in your experience, does smart manufacturing is only based on the integration or the utilization of technology, or rather the smart execution and doing the right choices, sir?
It purely depends on your problem statement. So when how you apply matters. So it's purely depends on the problem statement, what you have right now. As you students, as I said, TBIs and things, like you can able to come with, if you have a good problem statement, accordingly, if you want to make applications or AI, any like machine learning or artificial intelligence, you can come with you can just like a prototype. If you can able to come, then you can convert it to startups. So it is not everywhere artificial intelligence is required. Everywhere machine learning is required. It's not like that. It purely depends on your problem statement. So we can able to apply, like for example, we have different algorithms like CNN, LSTM, BLSTMs. It is not necessary put together all those things for everywhere. Where it's required, we have to apply it. That's it.
See, I just beg to differ when you said smart manufacturing is a buzzword. So it's actually not a buzzword. It's being used, okay? And the organizations that are using them are also seeing the benefits out of it, right? The challenge is whether everybody can have the, say, the financial muscle and their current nature of work without any disruption to their existing commitments. Can they also get into smart manufacturing is the challenge. Other than that, if you look at if smart manufacturing happens, is there an output in terms of, if there is an efficiency, if there is an increase in the output, if there is an scope to, say, build a better quality product, all those are definitely something that has been proven, right? And lot of industries, even in India, have adopted smart manufacturing practices. It's not that, say, as Sir was saying earlier, right? See, we are just moving into the next league, right? And there are, see, India is now focusing a lot on semiconductors, defense, drones, and all these industries are things that require precision equipments, components. Right? You can't have defense at a particular. And so smart manufacturing is the only answer, I would say, and it is not a buzzword or anything. Okay?
Yeah. Hope you got the view of this smart manufacturing.
Thank you so much.
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
My question is focused to Dr. Prasad and Dr. Vivek. Because I keep getting asked this question, especially from the students. So in the context of next generation manufacturing and AI, what are the future skills needed?
See, again, this question is a very clever question you have asked. you asked a very, very tough question. I will tell you why it is tough. See, 35 years ago, a mechanical engineering is pure mechanical engineering. You study your strength of materials, engineering design, vibrations, finite element analysis and stuff. Electrical is, power systems, motor, blah, blah. So the demarcation between the branches of engineering was very crisp. Today, the boundary is no longer crisp, it is gray. There is severe overlap. A mechanical engineer cannot be a mechanical engineer knowing only strength of materials and theory of machine and vibrations. That person would have to know about a bit of computer programming, a bit of electronics, so much of interface. Today, if you take a car, probably have 40 motors in it. And, a car has more code, a modern car, than an F-16 aircraft. This is a fact. So, now the boundaries between the domains have become very blurry. So, that's the first challenge. The second challenge is, until 3 years ago, I could give an assignment and expect the kid to submit the assignment in a believable way. Today, I had an instance where 2 of my students used a smartwatch with ChatGPT to answer a final exam. This is from a very elite institution I don't want to name, elitist institution. So the kids beat the system. So there are 2 challenges. One is, how are the kids going to learn? What is going to be the syllabus? I don't have an answer, but it is going to be a query-based learning. It is going to be an autonomous learning, number 1. Number 2, how are you going to examine the student? Because it will not be a common question paper anymore, because each kid will learn in his or her own way. Again, I don't have an answer. It should probably be a skill-based examination, application-based examination, which is going to be very arduous, very expensive. And probably you need an AI system to evaluate the outcome of the examination. So the question is, I don't have an answer. It's a very difficult question. But thanks for asking it. I think he had a question. We have to give him a chance.
I'm Gopinathan from G Molding Solutions. So I am a MSME company, manufacturing company. So all the softwares which are used in the smart or ERP or automation, which is not economically suitable for MSMEs. There is a lot of software. Example, take ERP software. There is 100 suppliers are there, but implementing that software is quite difficult and not success in small scale industries. So how we can bridge the gap?
So this answer is again Palni's personal answer, nothing to do with any of the inputs that comes from, or there are multiple views about how the SaaS models are going to be. Okay. See, I'll just give an analogy. Prior to smartphones, camera was something where we have to respect them, right? So we had professional photographers, we had professional videographers, and it required specific set of skills. Even today, that is required. But we all can actually now take at least decent photographs. We all agree to it, right? And AI is at a similar mode for all the MSMEs and even to the common man. This is what I tell a lot of people whom I meet, right? Today, if you want to do an expense calculator, it's just about 15 minutes of work where AI can help you build one thing. Similarly, if you want a custom ERP to be built, maybe based on your requirements, using a Claude or using a cursor, it can be built. Even before the session, I was just telling him, we are building something which is in a stealth mode right now, maybe in another 3 to 5 months time. This is exactly the problem that we need to address, right? We know India is a land with, I'm not even taking all the micro segments into account, because whenever we take the micro entrepreneurs, the number balloons to a few crores. So if I'm just looking at the small, medium and enterprise, I know the challenges. We have worked with them, we have understood. So Claude and Cursor can help you, and it will actually guide you in a easy way. And that's where we are saying skilling is also something that is key. And even the government of India, the government of Tamil Nadu, in fact, almost all the states are planning to do that AI skilling for all the entrepreneurs. A lot of proposals are in place. And I would also say, if you have your son or daughter who is already in college, or who, I think they should be in a position now to develop it without the support of an agency like us. I'm being very open about it, right? And that is the roadmap in which we are also traveling. What we are trying to do is we are also trying to do the skilling. We are also trying to give certain things which will make the life easier. That is the way we are seeing. Maybe in the next year, the adoption rates will be much more higher. It will be much easier.
So your problem is cost, right? So I request you can give this opportunity for the young students who are studying in engineering, in computing technologies and other AI. Students can do, you can able to expect the high-end output, but the thing is, they can able to do a better thing, better softwares even they can come with. Even they are referring many AI tools and they are eligible to do those kind of softwares. Why you can't able to give the opportunities to those students, which makes cost effective, as well as you can able to get the result as 90% you can able to get it out. Why you can't able, so this is my suggestion. So you please. Every institutions we have opportunities, and we are in third semester, once the students is coming, we are providing internships to industries. Why you can't able to use those students to give projects like this kind of softwares, and they can able to build the softwares, right? Then it will be
taking this question, I like to answer it that we think big. Okay, we know only the SAP big softwares. Okay, when you compare to ERP, there is a couple of softwares are available which is modeled for the MSMEs. Even one user or two users we can. I also come across some of the engineering colleges doing this ERP softwares. And even I can tell you that a couple of the leading institutes like IIT or IIM Bangalore or IIT Ahmedabad giving the very, very cost-effective softwares for the many integrations. Which means that we doesn't know that we think that this is a college and we don't want it. But they are the right time and right persons to give the software for the micro and the small industries.
I know in a SRM we have, a software, AI-based software which is generated by students. Now, if you want to be get into SRM like as a faculty, the interview will be taken by AI-based software, which is developed by students. So even those things are there.
No, the most of the gap is there is a user company, the software provider is there. So the customization or suit the software to the company, there the system is failed. So every company have ERP, they are paying every month, but it's not utilized what it means for.
No, practically I can tell you that when I coming to the software in my company or any companies, whatever the software we get it, we will not use it 100%, but we need it. But basically we need to start it somewhere, what we need it and what does real practically need it. But we want all, but we don't want. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, excuse me. So that is where exactly I said this. See, I understand the problem that you are narrating. Say this, it would look like I am marketing. See, in farm, there are not many ERP softwares that can actually solve that problem, right? The challenges are very different. None of the world leaders have a ERP for farm management, actually. And we built a farm ERP for one of the sampling producers in Trichy, and it is very much in use. It took hardly 2 months. And I am openly stating we used Claude. That's why I'm saying AI, if you are going to look at it as a democratizer, and you don't need actually other organizations to come and even do it for you, provided if you have young mind. See, today the way I look at AI and when I look at the current generation of third year and final year students, they are like, I can't imagine, right? And that's why I use the word, if you have your son or daughter, and if they are in college, if they picked up those skills, they can sit with your team, understand their problems, based on their user requirement, they can easily build it. The only thing, as he said, when you build it, today in existing systems, security is an aspect which needs to be looked upon very carefully, because these systems are not trained for that right now. It will eventually come in another 6 months or 1 year. So that is the gap that we are trying to address. Okay, but you can be assured AI will definitely help.
Yeah, sure, I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. I really thank all the panelists here who has been full time busy, and they are able to spend a couple of hours for us to enrich our knowledges. And I also thanks all the visitors and the persons who have been down, who have been here for the quite long time, almost like 2 hours now. And thank you so much for all the panelists. And thank you, audience.
Thank you, sirs. That was really a thought-provoking session. I kindly request you all to please be seated on the stage. So let's have a quick rapid-fire kind of a thing. So there's no question, okay? It's an open question. Whoever answers, you get the prize. So it's an open one. The question is, if a robot joins you for shop floor tomorrow, what is the first job you will happily give away? Anybody can answer this. All answers are welcome. You answer, you get the gift. Yes.
Carry my heavy loads.
Okay. You get the gift anyway.
Basically, when I am a robot manufacturer, the big question comes from my wife. Can I manufacture a robot for the house?
Okay. Another question is, what is that one word that comes to your mind when you hear smart factory? Imagine you own a factory and your factory is called a smart factory. What do you feel, or how will you express that feeling? A lot of you are working here in tools and plastic manufacturing industries. I hope you have to come up with some good answer. Yes? Half a day lead time. That's nice. And yeah, he had an answer too.